All right, you sick fucks, get ready for some seriously messed up shit. Today we're diving into the Salish Sea feet mystery. Yeah, you heard that right. Fucking detached feet washing up on shore like some goddamn beach party from hell. What the hell is going on in those waters? Why just feet? Why so many? And why the Salish Sea? We're talking over 20 feet since 2007, both in British Columbia and Washington. Luckily, we've got our expert here to break down the freaky science and all the morbid details.
What's intriguing about this phenomenon is that it's not just random body parts we're finding. There's a specific pattern here.
Okay, let's rewind to the first foot-shaped turd that hit the fan. August 2007. A size 12 Adidas washes up on Jedediah Island. Some poor sap opens it up, probably expecting a goddamn message in a bottle or some shit. And boom, a man's right foot. Just chilling there like it's no big deal. Talk about a shitty beach day.
The footwear plays a crucial role here. It acts as a flotation device, keeping the foot buoyant, and it also slows down the decomposition process, protecting it from the elements.
So like a little sneaker coffin.
Yeah.
Keeping those toes nice and preserved for our viewing pleasure. But hold on, this wasn't even the first time this creepy shit happened. Back in 1887, a leg and a boot showed up on a Vancouver beach. They even named the spot Leg and Boot Square. Talk about a morbid sense of humor. So this whole foot fetish, the ocean has been going on for over a century. But why the hell is the Salish Sea the chosen spot for this macabre buffet?
That's a question that continues to baffle researchers. The vast majority of these discoveries are concentrated within the Salish Sea region, encompassing islands in British Columbia and cities in Washington state.
Let's get into some of the juiciest finds, shall we? We've got a camper chilling near Pish, Washington, probably trying to get away from all the goddamn feet, and stumbles upon yet another one, this time in a black size 11. First one outside of British Columbia, mind you. Then there's this fucked up story. A foot in a hiking boot washes up at Sasamat Lake. Turns out it belonged to some fishermen who went MIA back in 1987.
Okay.
Talk about a cold case.
No.
And get this. A hiker on Gabriel Island finds a foot tucked inside a hiking boot, wedged in a log jam. What are the fucking odds?
The sheer number of discoveries is statistically improbable, leading to much speculation and fascination.
Now, let's not forget about the matched pairs. Like, what are the chances of 2 feet from the same poor bastard washing up separately? It's like winning the lottery.
Right.
The prize is a pair of disembodied feet. Fucking morbid lottery, man.
Matched pairs point towards natural forces being a significant factor. You see, when a body decomposes in water, the extremities often detach first. The ankle joint is relatively weak.
Yeah. So those feet just pop off and go for a swim in their fancy footwear. Makes sense, I guess. But wait, if that's the case, why aren't we finding more hands or heads bobbing around out there?
That's where the buoyancy of the footwear comes in. A shoe filled with air acts like a buoy, keeping the foot afloat for a longer time, increasing its chances of reaching the shore. Other body parts just don't have that same advantage.
So it's all about fashion choices in the afterlife. You heard it here first, folks. If you're planning on kicking the bucket anytime soon, make sure you invest in some sturdy, buoyant footwear. You know, just in case.
While the circumstances are often grim, it's important to remember that not every discovery is genuine. Back in 2008, someone decided to pull a prank and dressed up an animal paw to look like a human foot. It caused quite a media shitstorm.
Oh yeah, that hoax was some grade A bullshit. People were losing their minds over it. Turns out the Salish Sea feed had become a pop culture phenomenon. Fucking novels, podcasts, even TV shows like Bones and Rizzoli and Isles jumped on that creepy bandwagon.
It speaks to the public's fascination with the macabre and the unknown.
And the juicy possibility of foul play, right? Everyone loves a good serial killer story. Everyone's thinking some psycho is chopping up bodies and tossing them into the sea. But here's the kicker.
In most of the cases that have been identified, foul play has been ruled out. It's more likely that the feet belong to individuals who died from natural causes, accidents, or suicide.
So less Dexter and more sad reality, huh? Well, that's a bummer. I was hoping for a more sinister conspiracy theory.
The mystery remains, though. Why the Salish Sea? Why this concentration of detached feet?
Right. Why here? Why just feet? Why so many goddamn shoes? What the hell is going on beneath the surface?
These are questions that scientists and investigators are still trying to answer, and for now, they remain a mystery.
All right, you morbid bastards. That's it for part 1 of our deep dive into this fantastic clusterfuck. We'll be back with more twisted details in part 2. Stick around if you dare.
Let's dig a little deeper into some of these fucked up cases, shall we? It's the individual stories that really bring this whole foot fetish of the sea to life.
Hit me with your best shot, expert. I'm ready for another round of this twisted shit.
All right, buckle up. One of the most unsettling discoveries happened in November 2011. A group of campers at Sasamat Lake found a man's right foot inside a size 12 hiking boot. Can you imagine? Just chilling by the lake, roasting marshmallows,
Wow.
and bam! You stumble upon a severed fucking foot.
Jesus Christ, that's some next-level nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
I'd be shitting my pants and running for the hills faster than you could say decomposed foot.
Turns out the foot belonged to Stefan Zaharudko, a local fisherman who went missing back in 1987. The police believe the foot detached naturally and ruled out foul play.
So another case of good old-fashioned decomposition and buoyancy doing their thing. But still, 24 years later, that foot really took its sweet time getting to shore.
It shows that these discoveries can happen anywhere in the Salish Sea, not just along the coast. Even inland lakes aren't safe from this freaky shit.
Okay, that's officially creeped me the fuck out. What else you got? Lay some more morbid knowledge on me.
Let's rewind back to the case that really put the Salish Sea feet on the map. August 2007. A young girl visiting Jedediah Island picks up a size 12 Adidas and opens it up.
Yeah. We talked about that one earlier. Poor kid probably needed therapy after that.
Here's the thing. That specific type of Adidas shoe was mostly sold in India back in 2003.
Wait, so you're telling me this foot potentially traveled all the way from fucking India to the Salish Sea? Talk about a long-ass swim.
It's a possibility. Ocean currents can carry objects for thousands of miles. Of course, the shoe could have been bought somewhere else and ended up in the Salish Sea through other means. We just don't know for sure.
Okay, so we've got missing fishermen, potential international foot travelers, and let's not forget about those goddamn matched pairs. It's like some twisted puzzle with missing pieces. What are the authorities doing to figure this shit out?
Well, in Canada, the BC Coroner Service has been investigating each case thoroughly. They've used DNA analysis to identify several of the feet and have ruled out foul play in those instances.
No serial killer chopping up bodies for fun. Damn, that's disappointing.
It's not likely, no.
There goes my true crime podcast idea. Back at the drawing board, I guess.
But that doesn't mean there aren't unanswered questions. The sheer number of these discoveries in the Salish Sea is statistically unusual. Why this region? Why so many feet?
Yeah, and why the hell are they always wearing shoes? You'd think after years in the water, those shoes would have rotted to shit.
That's the key, isn't it? The shoes are crucial in both the preservation and buoyancy of the feet. They protect the feet from decomposition and allow them to float for longer periods, increasing their chances of washing ashore.
So it's like those shoes are sending us messages from the watery depths? Footprints from beyond the grave?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Maybe it's just a bizarre fucking coincidence, but either way, it's a phenomenon that keeps us guessing and coming back for more.
This whole thing is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Remind me to never lose a goddamn shoe in the Salish Sea.
Good advice.
Before we spiral into a full-blown existential crisis, let's get back to the science behind all this. I mean, how the hell does a foot just detach from a body? Isn't that, like, really hard to do?
Not as hard as you might think. When a body decomposes in water, the ankle joint, being relatively weak, tends to separate first. And once the foot is free, it can easily become buoyant if it's stuck inside a shoe full of air.
Right, the good old shoe buoy. They all make sense now. But hold on, what about those cases where the feet are still attached to part of the leg? What's the deal with those?
That's a great point. Those cases suggest that the decomposition process was somehow interrupted or slowed down, maybe because of colder water temperatures or other environmental factors. And because a portion of the leg is still attached, it gives the shoe more surface area to work with, increasing the buoyancy even more.
Okay, so we've got decomposition, buoyancy, ocean currents, and maybe a sprinkle of bad luck, all contributing to this messed up mystery.
Exactly.
Well, this deep dive has been enlightening, to say the least. I'm still creeped out as fuck.
Yeah.
But at least I'm a little less clueless about the weird shit happening in the Salish Sea.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
And sometimes knowledge is just plain fucking terrifying. Welcome back, you morbid fucks, to the final chapter of our deep dive into the Salish Sea feet mystery. We've talked about the freaky finds, the science behind those footloose fuckers. But now it's time to get all philosophical and shit. Expert, you ready to tackle the cultural impact of this whole footpocalypse?
Absolutely. This mystery taps into our deepest fears and fascinations. It's a potent blend of the macabre, the unknown, and the downright unsettling.
It's like a real-life horror movie, but with less screaming and more detached limbs. And, you know, Hollywood couldn't resist jumping on this creepy bandwagon. We've seen episodes inspired by the Salish Sea feet in shows like Bones and Rizzoli and Isles.
And let's not forget the novels and podcasts that have sprung up around this phenomenon. It's become a modern-day legend, a cautionary tale whispered among beachgoers and boaters.
Right, like a fucked-up version of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. But with severed feet instead of a mischievous kid. Don't go swimming alone at night or you'll lose a foot.
But beyond the entertainment factor, This whole thing has also sparked some genuine scientific curiosity. It's forced us to confront the realities of decomposition, the often overlooked processes that occur after death. And it's raised questions about the power of ocean currents and the interconnectedness of our world.
Okay, so we've got the science, the culture, but what about the juicy theories? Let's cut the crap and get to the good stuff. What are some of the explanations people have cooked up for why the Salish Sea seems to be a magnet for detached feet?
Some have speculated that the unique geography and currents of the Salish Sea create a sort of foot trap, where objects floating in the water are more likely to end up along the shorelines.
This is like a giant washing machine for feet, just churning them up and spitting them out on the beaches.
In a way, yes. Others have pointed to the large number of boaters and fishermen in the region, suggesting that accidents and drownings might contribute to the number of feet found.
Makes sense. More people out on the water. More chances for shit to go sideways and end up with a footloose situation. But let's be real. There's a part of us that wants to believe in something more sinister, right? Something that'll make our skin crawl and keep us up at night.
Of course, the human mind craves explanation, especially when faced with the unexplained, and that's why the Salish Sea feet mystery continues to fascinate and intrigue us. It's a reminder that there are still mysteries in our world, things we may never fully understand.
And maybe that's okay. A little mystery keeps life interesting, right?
Hmm.
But before we wrap up this morbid journey, I gotta ask, what does the future hold for the Salish Sea feet? Will those beaches keep getting blessed with more detached digits? Will we ever crack this creepy code?
It's impossible to say for sure, as long as people keep using the Salish Sea, as long as accidents happen, and as long as the tides keep rolling in, there's a chance we'll keep finding these severed souvenirs.
So the Footloose saga continues. Expert, any last words of wisdom for our listeners before we send them off to ponder the mysteries of the deep?
Perhaps the most important takeaway is that the Salish Sea feet, while unsettling, are ultimately a natural phenomenon. It's a stark reminder of the cycle of life and death, the power of nature, and the interconnectedness of our world.
Well said. And hey, if you ever find yourself strolling along a Salish Sea beach, keep your eyes peeled for any stray footwear. You never know what you might find inside. Maybe a foot, maybe a love letter, maybe just some seaweed and a crab.
Indeed. The possibilities are endless.
And on that slightly morbid note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the strange and unsettling world of the Salish Sea feet. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and for fuck's sake, watch your step.